Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk too much without giving away,
We've literally been given this list of stuff, and it's like you can't talk about anything apart from it's called Surface. So
yeah.
It's Surface. It comes out on July 29th, and thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Gugu, first to you. With the characters layered as Sophie, how did you prepare for this role?
Well, the scripts were just so good. Veronica West's writing was really drew me into the world. I feel like the way that she wrote the relationships, the dynamics between the characters, that was definitely my starting point. Obviously, being involved as an executive producer, I had a good amount of time, a good 6 months, of being a part of the project. Before filming, so I had time to kind of absorb the world, and there were practical elements of preparation, like horse riding lessons and underwater dive lessons, and those kind of things, which was really fun, and a little bit of running.
A little bit. I swear, there's at least like.
So there were some physical preparation things, but I mean, to be honest with you, once we got into it, it was really a joy to be able to collaborate with this amazing cast. Oliver, obviously, Stefan James, Marianne Jean-Baptiste, Ari Grainer, an incredible cast of actors who were all very generous and so talented. So that made it really, really very easy.
Oliver, and we're going to talk about James in just a little bit, but what initially attracted you to the role?
It was the scripts. I mean, I think Veronica West has this isn't based on a book. This is all from her mind, and the complexity of a story like this, and the twists and turns, and everything that reading through them the first time, I was like, oh, I've got it. Oh, I know what. And then something comes along and sideswipes you. So I just think it's so incredibly constructed. So it was that, but it was also working with Gugu, who I'd been a fan of for such a long time, and Hello Sunshine, and Apple, and Sam Miller, our director. It was this incredible kind of, it was a complete and utter no-brainer that, of course, I would sort of want to be a part of that. But ultimately, I think it all boils down to the story that we're telling, and I think Veronica's written, and it's a riveting story.
Yeah, I want to follow up to that, because I think when watching the show, I had such a love and hate relationship with your character. Like, James is just I mean, I'm sorry. It's just this. No,
but it's good.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
we're like,
the
good.
First couple episodes, I'm like, James, you are the worst human in the world. And then it's like, oh, wait, well, maybe he's not. Like, how did you kind of get in that mindset of this multifaceted character like that?
I don't know if you can sort of play the good or play the bad. I think you have to play it all, and then it's actually up to an audience to decide on how they feel. So I feel like, again, this is down to the genius of Veronica and the writing and the edit, and and all these incredible things like the sound and the sets and the light, all of this stuff that dictates. You can show someone, you can show someone putting a coat around someone as a kind gesture, and then a controlling gesture. And so it's all about how these things are interpreted, which we're constantly playing with in the show, of how things can be interpreted in different ways. So I feel like you have to just sort of play the truth of it, and then an audience will decide. And so I'm sort of glad that people hate him, and then they'll question that, and then maybe they'll love him, and then maybe they'll question why they ever hated him, and then question whether they still, maybe they hate him again, you know what I mean? And so it's and I think that kind of goes for all the characters in the show. You're constantly shifting your perception of them is constantly shifting.
Yeah, that's one of the things I found incredibly fascinating about the writing, is just so you never, all right, I know what's happening. No, you don't. You don't know what's happening. Can go back to you. So with Sophia having this whirlwind of a ride, and you playing in this character, what's something you learned about yourself within the role?
Gosh, that's a really tough question. What did I learn about myself? I suppose I related to the sort of duality of Sophie, you know, maybe the idea of somebody that presents, you know, as either fragile or delicate or, you know, sweet, you know, and actually can actually have quite a lot of fire underneath it. I suppose, you know, in inhabiting a new role of being an executive producer and finding my voice in that space, you know, as a leading actor, you know, there's the lead role, but then there's a different role that you sometimes have to play on the set of leading a team and leading a cast and the responsibility of that and setting the tone. So I guess I learned about leadership, yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one to think about, but yeah.
Oliver, I think Sam Miller's direction is also, he brings to life the story in a different way. What's it like working with him?
Oh my God, Sam is the greatest man. he just is. I feel like I only have incredible things to say about him. I mean, all of our directors, you know, Sam directed the bulk of it, but you know, Jennifer Morrison. I mean, all of our directors were just incredible. So yeah, but Sam is a very special man, and I think to be tasked with, you know, he guided our ship and set the tone of exactly how, I mean, alongside, you know, all the producers, like set the tone of how it would look, how it would feel, and he kept on talking about this. He would sort of say, I remember the first time we went to the house, the set that they built for our house, and he said, I went, oh my God, it's incredible. And he went, yeah, but it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. And I was like, it is weird. Like he has this kind of it's a nuance to his observation that is, I hugely respect. Yeah.
I think Sophie and Baden's relationship was one I found myself rooting for at certain parts, and of course maybe not rooting for. But what was it like working with
Stephan James? Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, it was such an interesting dynamic, and you know, I have been a fan of Stephan since I saw him in If Beale Street Could Talk and Homecoming with Julia Roberts. I mean, just he brings such a soulful energy and such a gravitas. And it was, I mean, without saying too much about our character's dynamic, I think there was something really interesting, I think, where Sophie feels like a different person when she's with Baden, you know, as opposed to when she's with James. He brings out a different energy in her. And I think as an actor, he brought out a different energy in me, which was really, really fun. And yeah, it's kind of hard to talk too much without giving away, you know,
We've literally been given this list of stuff, and it's like you can't talk about anything apart from it's called Surface. So
yeah,
it's Surface. It comes out on July 29th, and thank you.
Yeah, exactly. But he's phenomenally talented. Yeah, it was great to work with him.